Hey everybody, Joey Bully here, the Joey you can trust, back with a Walking Dead Roast 5 video, featuring brand new Neutralize Cal. Before we dive into this, I need to give Scopely him some shit here. Is this nitpicky? Yes. But if people are going to spend hundreds for a survivor, then the survivor and its survivor card should resemble each other and not a cheap copy and paste. This is Guardian 2 Cal, and this is the new Neutralize Cal. Let me ask you this, does the new Cal wear a headband or a hat? 5-star version, he's wearing a hat. In the 6-star version, he is Gilligan from Gilligan's Island. Where is the headband? I'm guessing they either ran out of time designing him, overlooked his hat, or they just didn't care and they were being lazy. I don't want to think it's the last option, but please, please, please don't make this mistake, as people might jump instantly to the worst case scenario. Now let's jump into Cal's base stats first and compare to other neutralizers. 1800 attack damage support? What? So we could really see this guy being on our attack team. His defense stats, which since he is a support with a very high attack stat, we should see one or both defense stats suffering in some form or manner. We see this with his defense stat being really close and slightly higher than a 5-star tanky survivor at 1171. So I can't imagine Cal being very successful on defense. His health is fairly high and similar to the other support neutralizers. Since Cal's attack is pretty high, I can say he is almost comparable to the damage roll neutralized Governor. Granted, Governor will put out a mediocre amount more damage, but what follows afterwards is pretty epic for Cal. Governor only impairs 2 enemies? Hell, well, Cal will 1-up you and do 3, in which we can impair that one extra survivor in the case they have an adrenaline rush that will cleanse impairs, or heals, or it'll revive as an example. Also, lowering AP is something you cannot resist. Let's take a look at what Cal has to offer. Being a neutralizer is very nice, and since a lot of people nowadays use stun resist, which I don't blame them, so impairs will be a nice thing to use for the time being. I am also guessing Scopely has the statistics to know what the average combat mod people have, and the release of this survivor makes me think Impair might be a solid go-to right now. Cal's adrenaline rush is depleting thrust, and it sounds like a sex move. It's like all us males or females with strap-ons out there in bed. We deplete after each thrust because, well, we need more AP. Alright, joking aside, this adrenaline rush is pretty cool, as you can't do a damn thing first half of it, which is the AP down portion. Pair this survivor up with elusive and other forms of AP neuter, such as AP down and impairs, then you're looking at a pretty damn good synergetic team comp. Cal's active will impair one enemy for 1 turn and give 35% AP to Cal. Cal being a neutralizer, this fits as if you're going to use his active skill and not neutralize anyone, then why use the active? So this combination is pretty good here. In the situation where Cal is impaired, and you don't want the risk of a nasty weapon mod, then this gives you the option to stop the adrenaline rush while not getting stunned or confused. But you're not going to gain 35% AP, which is a bummer. Moving on to Cal's weapon, and Cal's weapon is not bad at all. He is very impair-centric with his neutralize, adrenaline rush, active, and his weapon. There really is going to be a push for more impair resist combat mods, if I had to guess, so that stun resist can start being less and less of an issue. But as for his weapon, I would keep the impair, go for 40% HP, and then huge AP when attacking. And as for the order of stats to craft, I would go for the HP first and make the final craft be huge AP when attacking. I wouldn't put absolute defense on him. We want Cal to take damage, as he has a 66 adrenaline rush. So after 2 attacks, if he gets hit, he is popping his adrenaline rush off and just neutering the enemy team of AP gains. Yes, an absolute defense weapon would make sense since his defense stat is so low, but that is why we are going to be doubling down on his HP to keep him alive. Combat mods here, I will be mainly going defensive with some utility and some offensive pressure. We will go health set to make sure we can withstand some damage, as having a 1100-ish defense is very low, and since our HP is high, that is our best bet at scaling and adding to our survivability. Going on to the combat mods themselves, I would go with a defense or attack combat mod based on your preference. If the team running with Cal is super beefy in damage, then you can go either or. But if the team Cal is on lacks damage, then going for attack could be a better option and will help getting a kill turn 1 or turn 2. Attack versus red or attack versus blue based on who is paired with Cal. If the team lacks damage versus blues, go attack versus blue. And the same if the team lacks red offensive pressure, then go attack versus red. Stun resist, as we will be hitting range, so that means reds with stun guns and blues with stun actives and potentially blue-green leader team comps. So stun weapons will also be a thing to watch out for, and since Cal is yellow, those greens will probably target him first. These next 4 combat mods are based on your playstyle. AP down to double down on just crushing your enemy's souls through taking their AP. Burn if you don't have one in your team, as they are good to put on low damage survivors. Bleed if you run a lacerator. Graze if you want a more defensive approach, as we will be facing off against double attack blues in some scenarios. And having a low defense, we may want to cater to Graze if Cal is absolutely getting smashed. As for the wildcard combat mod, we are going to go with health, as that is his best defensive stat to staying alive, so we're going to take that route. Now it's time for the team comps. For team comps, I will be doing mainly attack teams and 1 defense team. First attack team, we come in guns blazing with a lot of offensive pressure and utility. Winner Jesus to make sure our yellows are ready to blast any blues in our way and allowing them to have adrenaline rushes ready to go turn 3. Romanoff for taunt CC and Berserker for that extra damage boost. Cal for his impairs and mediocre damage and AP down utility. For dealing with reds, we will have Disarm Michonne and Alpha do heavy hitting to them. Disarm Michonne can also be used when killing blues for our yellows to make sure we can remove any special weapon mods they may have, such as an Impair when taking damage. We choose Alpha so that come turn 3, we have without a doubt a blue adrenaline rush to use against the reds and a confused CC to use. We don't bother with stuns on this team since a good portion of people have stun resist. Second attack team will be led by League Store Mirabelle and Cal following her for the AP downs and impairs. Command Glenn to make sure we have a 1-turn advantage to use our adrenaline rushes, if need be. And if he uses his adrenaline rush, then having that attack and defense buff should mean we will be winning soon. Shiva for high single target burst, with Confuse to follow and a stun active for special weapon mods if our disarmor fails. Disarm Bruce so that we can deal with special weapon mods in another form of controlling AP with his active being AP down. The third team is a bit Premier, I would say. Premier Carl so that we can have a leadership skill, reviver, and a healer in one. Cal to bring the AP down and impairs to the table. Hayland for a hard-hitting finisher and decapitate. Conrad for damage versus red, and his defensive AR will help stay alive if any enemy is alive after an onslaught of attacks. Disarm Michonne for burst damage versus reds and to deal with special weapon modifiers. This last attack team will be less Premier. Rick rise to power for high single target burst, leadership skill, AR with elusive to further control AP generation to the enemy. Focus so that we can also deal with human shields. Cal for more AP control, along with Anna or Decapitate Alpha depending on if you need more CC, and stronger single target burst for Anna, or Alpha if you need to have a Decapitate. Romanoff for further CC with his active taunt and taunt weapon along with burst damage to 2. Beta being the cherry on top to add yet another survivor with AP down. This team can be pretty damn serious here. With Rick's elusive to be placed on your team, to then have Beta drop a big AR on someone to negate all their AP they have, and give all that AP back to Rick, giving you back-to-back turns of elusive and 2 big burst damages to the enemy, is pretty damn serious. For AP control. Cal to lower AP and Impair, which now even if the enemy uses a recover Impair, they are not in a good position, with now elusive being in the picture. Also, having 2 neutralizers gives immense control, especially since we have a focus, so that human shields will be less of an issue. Our one and only defense team here is Lydia Leader for our 40% HP and 40% defense along with her active recover stun. And since greens will be raiding us, this will be ideal. We bring in Cal and Beta for a chance to stop 2 adrenaline rushes when the enemy is ready to unleash them around turns 2 or 3. If we can get a command off with Cal or Beta, we can for sure cause a disrupt in the force. for them giving our defense team enough time to get bonus HP, defenses, Guardian Shields to start rolling out. That's going to wrap up the video on Neutralize Cal. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, to make you laugh, bored you anything positive, please give a nice karate chop to the like, subscribe button. Make sure you leave a comment down below. It's greatly appreciated. And on that, I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye!